And here we are. The finale. The climax of the story. Here I stand before a veritable tower of sinew and rage. His misshapen brethren block the exits and look on. The world-bearers with smug satisfaction, and the world-eaters with barely controlled fury. They were clearly impatient to slaughter my crew. Blood and skulls is kind of their whole thing, and they really wanted to get started on that. But not before Big Red Angry Boss Man proved that he could eviscerate little old me because I called him mean names. Now, to be honest, this was no mere corn peon foaming at the mouth. This was a really big and really nasty peon of the dark gods. A true peon's peon. And it was likely that he was foaming from every single one of his orifices. So Big Red draws a nasty-looking demon blade, and his face is so contorted with rage, and his muscles are so taut, that he looked as if every single one of his tendons were about to snap and tear the skin right off his face. I could practically feel the heat coming off of him. The stink of the Empyrean emanated off of every inch of him. It was as if I was standing before the sun without a drop of anti-radiation salve in sight. If I stood there too long, I'm certain I would turn an unnatural and unpleasant shade of red before sprouting cancerous growths all over my body, both in a physical and spiritual sense. So there I am, staring death in the face, completely surrounded. So you must be asking yourself, what was my secret plan? What was that clever ploy that I had lured these imbeciles into? Oh, I had absolutely no plan. Every single one of my own efforts had simply been to stall the inevitability of my own death. Stall and stall and stall and stall. That's been my plan so far. So, considering my current situation, I thought to myself, why not stall some more and hope for a miracle? It seems to be the way the Imperium does things. Waste a lot of everyone's time and resources to delay the inevitable collapse of their miserable empire. Now where was I? Oh yes, not dying. So, we get things started. Big Red gives a salute. Of all things, everything in this system is burning, and billions of people are dying, and we have time for salutes and honor. Well, that's fine by me, because this gives me a chance to give my own elaborate salute with my clave. A few precious more seconds. Then he charges at me, bellowing his lungs out as usual. It's so painfully predictable, almost laughably so. But there's no one better in the galaxy than Khorne's boys at doing this one thing. They will carve up anything in their path that's foolish enough to stand in it. Now, there's no staying toe-to-toe with any of these maniacs juiced up on chaos. But there was always running away, which is exactly what I did. Retreat and dodge, parry when I had to. Oh, he was fast. Impossibly fast for a monkey. Impossible even for a space marine. There was a bizarre kind of wonder at seeing such a massive creature move so quickly. But we Eldar are nothing if not preternaturally quick and nimble. And I have the experience. I've been alive for 5,000 years, remember? And I spent every ounce of that time in real space. The warlord's blade screams fearfully close to my beautiful face quite a few times. But the beast's swings hit nothing but air. And this makes the beast angry, and his rage seems to feed him more and more. He grows faster and faster, and the blazing demon energies surging off of him were beginning to take a toll on little old me. Such proximity to chaos is very taxing on the soul, particularly for my kind. He makes another arching swing, and I move, I dodge, carefully picking my way through. But the beast had cunning. I dodged beneath the swing, and he simply continued to spin, his sword passing over me, but a powerful gauntleted fist swung right into my face. My personal force field sparked violently and immediately shattered from the force of the blow. We were both knocked backwards, myself much, much more than the seething creature before me. He was slightly staggered as his ceramite boots slid along the floor of the bridge. I was sent tumbling backwards, nearly smashing into a bulkhead before I recovered my footing. Even though I was off my feet for a mere fraction of a second, the fiend was already on me, his terrible blade swinging towards my tender, fragile meat parts. I stalled and I stalled. I avoided my death for so long, and I was moments away from eternal torment, which is honestly a fairly normal day in Komorah. But then, you, my friend, you came through. The blast from the ship, the shock wave struck the Obaziana just as my life was about to be snuffed out. Suddenly the bridge was full of flying bodies, flung by the impact of the blast. I must admit that I wasn't even sure what happened. The lights on the bridge flickered and died, and only the red glow of the emergency system was on. I was fortunate. I had not lost consciousness, and I could see that the very careful cordon that was set around this makeshift arena was no longer there. World Eater and World Bearer alike were all flung to various corners of the bridge. So I took my opportunity and I ran. Oh, the lesser Space Marines were fast, but not faster than me. And by the time they drew their loud, ugly weapons, I had fled the bridge. Naturally, Big Red followed me, roaring his lungs out and swearing oaths to his great and powerful puppeteer. But here's the thing about my ship. It is most assuredly not built to accommodate bulky Space Marines. The narrow corridors that run through the Obaziana simply don't allow creatures that are nearly 3 meters tall and thicker than an old-growth tree trunk. Big Red could certainly tear his way through, but he wasn't going to be able to do that quickly. Within a few moments, I was already sprinting through the maintenance access points. As I ran, I saw crew of all kinds taking up fortified positions throughout the ship. The duel was off, and the monsters were no longer playing nice. Space Marines were now fighting in a true boarding action. They likely realized what had happened, and now here they were, cut off from their support, their ship destroyed. Now they were fighting for their lives just as we were, and oh, did they fight. It was a bloody room-to-room brawl throughout the vessel. Our advantage was in the knowledge of our ship and the cramped quarters. We lost many, Ophis was killed along with the other slith companions she had. Anthrax was seriously injured, and if not for his heavy weapon servitors, he would have been killed. But with all this grisly, slow room-to-room fighting, I was now able to use the maintenance access shafts, the ones the Marines had absolutely no hope of fitting into, to ambush and kill the mindless brutes and their babbling, proselytizing compatriots. Suddenly, I was able to play the game to my strengths, targeting units that were pinned down, striking quickly. Their ceramite was nothing to my clave, as I struck and cut through them like butter before melting back into the workings of the ship. I even caught up with Big Red again. Oh, he made a gory mess out of quite a few crewmates. But there aren't many problems that you can't solve by a good plasma blast to the face. You can't very well swing a demon blade when you no longer have a torso. It was a long and brutal fight, and we lost roughly half the crew. Our vessel is now barely limping along. We sustained even more damage in the boarding action. But with our hit-and-run tactics, we eventually wore them down. One by one they were snuffed out. Room by room I took back my ship, and moment by moment I stayed alive. And it looks like you did too. Unfortunate that Teresa did not, it seems. Good crew are very hard to find, and we lost so many like her. It will take us years to have people with her level and experience again. But let's look on the bright side. I am here, and you are here, my friend, both aboard the Obesiana, picking through the savior pods floating in the void, and seeing who's left. Oh, come on, then. Let's see if your pal Book made it. Oh, don't look so worried. If he didn't make it, I'll make it up to you. I'll find you an even hairier, stupider creature for you to make friends with. Look, the point is, we're alive, and the ship is alive. We'll limp off to safe harbor, lick our wounds, and sell all of our ill-gotten goods. And then, my friend, anything is possible. The galaxy is our ash clam. So, where to next?
No man do they call me, my mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Thank you all for listening to the finale of Kazazel's Merry Marauders. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a like and a comment so that you too can miraculously survive certain death and become a galactic pirate king. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so in order to hear more stories that I create on this channel. If you would like to support me, links to my PayPal, Patreon, and Teespring are down in the description. And if you have absolutely no idea what's going on, I am sorry that you tuned into this for the last episode. But if you want to start from the beginning, the link to the Merry Marauder playlist should be appearing on screen right now. Thank you all once again for listening. No Man out.